Hey guys, PitMaster here. We're going to talk about the use of your fists in a street fight. A lot of controversy. One side says don't use your fists, they break too easy and you're going to lose the fight. Use the palms, use the hammer blows, use the elbows, etc. Okay? I partially agree with part of that some of the time, but I think for the most part, once a street fight starts and it's life or death, you need to close your hands and just start swinging. Okay? In a pancrase match, it's really effective using the palms. Boss Rudin had that down, but he was fighting another guy that was using his palms as well. Okay? I think there's no better weapon in a street fight than using your fists. Okay? Now, do you have a chance of breaking them? Yes. But I think it's outweighed by how effective they can be in a street fight. And breaking your hand in a street fight, which could very easily happen, is something that's taken care of later. Okay? You want to stay safe in that street fight. You want to stay alive. And making two fists and using them effectively, I think, is much more effective than using palm strikes, hammer blows, or elbows. Okay, there's a time and a place for those, but I think once the street fight is standing and once it gets going, I think there's nothing more effective than good, solid punching. Okay, I've heard you've heard the saying, better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Well, I think it's better to have a cast on your head, on your hand. I didn't mean on your head. I think it's better to have a cast on your hand for 4 weeks after the fight than be in a coma for 4 weeks after the fight. Right? I know you guys think that's funny and it's a good one. That's my line. You can use it. So I think using your fist is the preferred way of fighting. Once the guy hits the ground, okay, if you hurt him and he hits the ground, I don't think you should start punching him in the face, because all he has to move is 1/2 of an inch and you're going to punch the concrete and break your hand, and he's already on the ground. So once he's on the ground, that's when I think hammer blows, palm strikes, and forearms work really well. Even, kicks. But when it's standing, I think there's no better weapon than the fists, okay? Now, with that said, there are some ways to minimize your chances of hurting your hands once you get into a street fight, which you shouldn't, by the way, unless someone's trying to take your lunch money or your life's in jeopardy. Okay? A couple of the ways that I like to strengthen my hands and make them less vulnerable for breaking, if I ever happen to get in a street fight, is number one, a lot of hand exercises like squeezing things. Tennis balls, they have so many things out there, and it does strengthen your hands. It mainly strengthens your forearms, but it does strengthen the tendons and the muscles in your hands, and it does help strengthen the bones as well, because anytime you're working something, it's strengthening the bones and the muscles. Another way I like to strengthen the bones in the hand is punching the makiwara board, which is just a thin pad with something over it, canvas, nylon, whatever, and just punching it routinely. Not trying to break your hand on it, but just punching it about this hard repeatedly for like 5 minutes, and that does make the bones in your hands denser and less likely to break, because there are 28 bones in your hand. Okay, you got your phalanges, your fingers, you got your metacarpals, which are the most commonly broken bones, right along the back of your hand. Number 4 and 5, ring finger and pinky, are the most broken bones during a fight. Okay, and it's this metacarpal right here. Okay, it's always optimal to punch with your first 2 knuckles, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes that darn guy keeps moving. So you can be punching him, trying to aim for those 2 knuckles all you want, but he's moving too. So you don't know which knuckles you're going to hit with. You're just lucky to hit him with anything. Okay? There are also about 8 to 10 little bones down here near the wrist. And a lot of times when you hit really hard, the shock, the shock of the punch will take one, out and take it out of its place or fracture it or it'll become dislocated and they'll have to go on and have surgery later. Okay, but like I said, my choice. If it's a street fight and it's standing, I'm going to close my hands, start punching, and hope for the best. Okay, and that's my advice to you. Have faith in them.